Welcome back from the New City State Global Morning Live on your screen. My name is Ramsey Enoch again, and of course, it's now time for the first conversation. The discussion is going to be getting very hot soon. I want to look at strengthening Nigerian ballot through polls. We're looking at credibility of polls in Nigeria. A lot of people oftentimes, when you talk about free and fair election, the first thing that comes to mind is if the election in itself is free and fair, how is the ballot boxes being handled? How is the ballot itself being handled? Who is voting and who is not voting? How is this voting being done? Is the person voting eligible? Is the person not eligible? It's been a thing of concern. And of course, the INEC chairman and former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who actually contested for the presidential seat in 2015 as a sitting president, is the one coming up with this concern today, and we'll be looking at that holistically this morning. My guest will be joining me, Dr. Aliu Ilyas, a political analyst and a development expert, will be joining me as we talk about this today. Now, let's quickly look at the concern coming from the former president and, of course, the INEC chairman. I was so surprised to see the INEC chairman also accepting the fact that results of elections in Nigeria is being flawed. That is a good testimony, and of course, that is a revelation. If it is the president, the former president, Jonathan, that has complained about that, someone may say, well, maybe probably because he didn't win in 2015, but all of us know what transpired in 2015. And as a matter of fact, President Goodluck Jonathan has made this revelation, and not just him, former President Goodluck Jonathan, of course, and the former INEC chairman, talking about Professor Atahiru Jega, has already decried the state of Nigeria's electoral system, and of course blaming flawed election on political actors, the judiciary and the Electoral Commission. Political actors, judiciary and Electoral Commission are the ones President Jonathan and the former INEC chairman, Professor Atahiru Jega, is blaming for the flawed results. All right, what do we do? How do we get here? If this revelation is coming from an INEC chairman, then you should know that this is true. Like I said, my guest is already on the call. He's joining via Zoom. Dr. Aliu Ilyas, a political analyst and a development expert. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning, Doctor.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, it's so good that we want to talk about the fact that some persons have come up with concerns. They cry the fact that election results in Nigeria is being flawed. Who have actually cried out? The former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Goodluck Jonathan, and of course, former INEC chairman, Professor Atahiru Jega. What would you have to make of that, looking at the topic of discussion today?
Right, I think it's a good one that the comment is coming from people that are well experienced, that have been in the helms of affair. If it's other people saying, they will think it's because a political job, but it's good that it's coming from there, even though they share from the challenges we are having in that regard. However, our election is being flawed. That is correct. It is marred with a lot of the problems. The first problem is that we don't even have an audited electoral. We don't have audited what do you call it, electorate, because over time we don't know who is late, we don't know who is alive, we don't know who is alive. So a lot of things are there that we have not been able to actually capture as it were. And you also know that our election is still marred with violence. We can't take that away. So these are our election also is also suffering from what we call what people buy election as well. So a lot of problem, but I'm happy that it's coming from them, because most of us have a lot of the solutions to it. Because most time I used to monitor elections. I recall this last presidential election, I monitored it at Wali, and I tried to look at a lot of things that we need to correct. I think it's good that it's coming from them, but going forward, I think election and electoral system is an ongoing work. I'm sure with time we'll find a way to work on it.
All right. One of the persons that have been fingered out in the flooring of this election result is political actors. Then they also talk about the judiciary and, of course, the commission itself. So what would you have to say about that? Because these are people that are supposed to make this election free and fair and credible.
Right. When you talk about politicians who are actually want to assume office, recall every politician wants to find every means to become the winner in every election. It is the system that is going to correct them. The system that will deny them from doing what is wrong. They are ready to turn it to violence if it will come to their own favor. They are ready to have a malpractice. They are ready to also buy election. They are also ready to go the route of the what we call religion and tribalism, because they want to actually emerge. So it is the system that will correct them. And that will take me back to INEC. I think INEC needs to be on board good, if you ask me. I think the work is too much for them. They can really separate that. People that will organize the process, the supply chain of the INEC, is not from people that will be announcing the result. I think if we can do that, it will separate those work and it will come out very, very. We have gotten to a level in which we do not need to use PVC again. In as much as we have national ID card or other identification, why are we bent on using the PVC? So I think we should move from that era. Then he talked about judiciary. Judiciary is one of our problems. Judiciary is now becoming the point of declaring governors and election results, and it's a bad one that they are the one that we are waiting for at every point in time. In fact, if you look at most people that want an election, when you complain, you say go to court. They will tell you go to court. They will tell you go to court because they know that the court is going to declare. And you can see that most of our elections, even our winners, they don't have rest of mind until court actually declare them winner or not. So it's a serious problem, and these three things must be looking at appropriately.
Okay, that's spoken. We heard today that a very huge amount of money is being owed by the All Progressive Congress. These are legal fees from elections that ranges from that of the presidency to the governors to the House and all of that. Well, let's move away from there and look at the concern of the people. This statement, this revelation, don't you think it will go a long way affecting the patriotism of Nigeria in the area of voting? Because if you vote and you know very well an INEC chairman is telling you that your vote has not been counted, that's what it means. Don't you think this will go a long way affecting the mentality of the people? Because it's just like you wasting your time. And remember, there is already campaign permutations and everything going on towards 2027. Don't you think this may have a way of affecting the people's mentality, as in, okay, why go waste my time when this revelation has even come from INEC chairman that the election results are being flawed?
It is two sides of the coin. First and foremost, I think we are discouraged. I can tell you, even if you look at the violence in election is a problem. I remember in Kogi State, a particular woman was burnt to ashes. I recall that a lot of violence, shooting happened. So if you look at that violence, you'll be discouraged. And these things are being perpetuated intentionally so that a particular party will take advantage of it. So, and if you also look at the vote count, most of us sometimes look at, they just convicted a professor who actually do what we call rigging in favor of another political party. He has been sent to jail. So if you look at all those things, you discover that it's quite discouraging. If our votes will not count, so why do we have to go to poll? That is serious. But on the other side, as a Nigerian, I don't see what should make you not to go to poll. Please let us, all of us, start going to poll, because we keep on complaining every day, and the only way you can correct this wrong is for us to actually go to the poll and vote. So let's continue to vote while we continue to call on the INEC and the federal government to make sure that our votes count. it's very good that we go to, because if you don't go to poll, you allow people that does not deserve to lead you, and in the long run they will lead you the way they actually want. So it is when you go to poll, you now be able to complain, you'll be able to raise a lot of questions concerning that.
Yes, I think you just said something very vital when you talked about the fact that a professor was actually prosecuted because he rigged an election. Now, let's look at it critically now. We're talking about the whole Nigerians now. A professor, because most times professors are being used because of their level of education, and they feel these are people that will not be easily compromised. Now, if a professor is going as far as rigging an election for a particular party, what would you have to say about the usage of professors as recs and even ad hoc staffs? Because sometimes some people find their way into the system and they feel this is my opportunity to hit and run. What do you think needs to be done, all right, so that all of this don't happen? Because we're just talking of one professor here. Maybe if you check very well, it might not even be just this one person that compromised processes during the elections that we've had so far.
Right. I think the rationale behind using professor is, first and foremost, most people are being used as professor of political science, professor in management science, professor that understand how to manage activities. That's one. Number two, it is clear, it is what we can all agree that it's difficult to really convince professor to really, but money is what we are talking about. So sometimes we can see elements, some of them compromising, and that's why we are happy that this person is being prosecuted, and that will send a signal to others. I think it's good that we're using academicians because they are well read and they understand the challenges of allowing compromise in such a program. So I think it's a good one, but the thing is, we must continue to shame these people that are doing bad to our electoral system. I think we should not stop at that. We want more. I will recall that even INEC are still looking to have their own court of electoral offences. That will also help. I think the president can agree with them. That will also help. But I think by and large, it's also good we continue with professors, with doctors, because they are much more exposed, they are much more knowledgeable. It will be difficult to compromise. But you cannot say 100% of them will be difficult to compromise. So, and that's why we are seeing this element that is being tried and jailed in the court.
All right. One other aspect that I was so surprised about when they were talking about people that contribute to the flooring of the process of these results. The commission itself, that's the INEC itself, being part of it. You are known as Independent Electoral Commission in charge of conducting credible, free and fair election in a country, and you are compromising processes to make people who are not the choice of the people have their way. What do you think the authorities, the federal government, should do about this? Because as it is right now, we are not just saying, this is not a speculation anymore. You know who Professor Atahiru Jega is in this country. A rector or a VC before I became the INEC chairman, and you know his time. A lot of things happened. Now, if this revelation is coming out and the commission itself is being indicted, what message, all right, is that passing to the federal government? Because some persons in the past have even called for the scrapping of INEC itself.
Right. I think the problem is that at every organization you have sympathizer of political parties. So I think the problem majorly is that there's some sympathizer among the staff of INEC that are sympathizer of some political party. In fact, some of the commissioners are members of some political parties. That's what we must start to look at very well. So if they find that you have worked for a particular political party, you have actually contested before, you should not be nominated. I think that should start from Mr. President. Don't nominate such person who is identified with a particular party. Then in INEC itself, there are some people that are sympathizers with a particular political party. Those people should be found and maybe cautioned appropriately or even taken to court appropriately. If you know you're a sympathizer of a particular either ruling party or non-ruling party, please resign from that her position, her movie, and that's why some of them need to be caught. When some of them are caught and they have made the example of them, I think that will actually solve the problem going forward.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I think I would have to commend a doctor here because our doctor made out time out of his busy schedule to be with us today. By all means, to salvage one or two situations. All right. Finally, before I let you go, you were already talking to Nigerians that nothing should make them not to be patriotic. Remember what happened in 2023 with Labour Party. Some persons are saying, well, if Peter Obi is coming out again, he may not have the kind of support he had in 2023. And that's talking about loyalty of Nigerians. Then so many things are playing out, apart from the fact that some persons believed that that election was actually marred by circumstances and their own person didn't win, which is normal. And there was a slogan of go to court. And we now heard that some billions of naira was being spent by the ruling party as far as they are owing about, is it 8 point something billion naira because of legal fees that they are owing. Now, what will be your advice to the federal government, to Nigerians, and of course, as we prepare for 2027?
Right. First and foremost, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to become president. He should write his name in the good book by making sure that he strengthens the electoral processes. All those negative things that happened in 2020 in the last election should not repeat itself. And going back to Nigerians, but before I go back to Nigeria, talk about Peter Obi. I think Peter Obi should man up and become a political party person. You cannot continue to parade yourself as a potential president, and you are not carrying along a political party. You are doing that Labour Party is in mess, and he there should have solved it because by default is the leader of that political party. He cannot go to another party 2 years to election and say they want to win. So it's better strengthening the political party. Now going to Nigerian electorate, I think we should continue to vote, continue to speak up. We should continue to correct the wrongs either by voting or by going to places to actually correct it. If you say you don't want to be part of the election, I'm sorry, that means you are giving room for a non-state actor or somebody who will actually not serve you better to be at the helms of affairs. So I think we should all go to the poll every time, anytime, any day.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Aliu Ilyas, a political analyst and a development expert. It's a pleasure joining us and being part of the discussion today. Thank you for releasing your wealth of knowledge on this program today. We're thankful for having you. We hope to have you more again and again and again, even live in the studio. Thank you very much for being part of the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, well, this is the size of the first conversation on Global Morning today. You have heard, some people will say from the horse's mouth. Now, let's get to the truth, the bottom of it. The former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has a repute, an image he has built for himself all over the world right now, as a matter of fact. Now, let's just intimate you, let's get you to know that as a matter of fact, so many things are happening. These are revelations. I think I can say it's a season of revelation. You know why? Because we've not recovered from the book written by the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. But now more revelations are coming up, and not just that these revelations are coming up, the pedigree of people releasing this revelation is what we are talking about. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and former, as a matter of fact, INEC chairman Professor Atahiru Jega coming up to say, well, the commission itself, that is INEC, political actors and the judiciary, which is meant to be the last hope of the common man, being the ones flooring election results. This revelation will go along with, but then I think the guests have spoken it. He has said it all. We don't need to trade our patriotism for anything. go out and vote when it's time for election, so that when you have the cause to complain, you will complain with justifications. All right, that's the end of the first conversation. Now we will go into the second conversation, and so much will be going down as I have a member of a State House of Assembly join me on the conversation this morning as we look at how critical that is as far as governance is concerned all over Nigeria. And of course, we'll be taking cognizance from a state in this country. Stay with us as we get into the second conversation after this break. We will be right back.